And welcome back. Time to touch on a subject of post-exploitation. We have traveled a long way from the beginning. We covered information gathering, where we tried to get as much information about our target that we would find useful for a future attack. After it, we scanned our target from technical aspect and we discovered its open ports and softwares that it runs. We then used different tools to figure out whether that target has any known vulnerability that we might be able to exploit. And then we exploited many different targets from Linux Metasploitable to Windows 7 and Windows 10. We both saw how to exploit its vulnerabilities, and then after it, we created our own payloads that we executed on the target system. Now comes the part after the exploitation. What are we going to do now that we're on the target system? What are we looking for, and what cool things can we even do? Well, we have lots and lots of options, depending on what we want to find, of course. For example, the most simple thing we can do is scroll through their file system and look through what files and programs they have on their machine. Maybe we could find something interesting, such as saved passwords inside of a file, or some other important files for that company that are laying on that machine unprotected. We could also download files from that machine and also upload files to it in case we want to send another payload or another executable that we want to run on their system. We can do all of this with our Meterpreter shell just by running a few commands. Talking about passwords, that is also something that we would look for. We could try to extract saved passwords from browsers, for example. Remember when you click on that button that says Remember Me once you log into some web page? Well, those passwords could be stored somewhere on their machine. And why would we go for passwords? You might be asking. Well, getting targets' online accounts just expands our access to them. Imagine you were to get their PayPal password and gain access to their PayPal account. That wouldn't be so pretty for them since you would have access to all of their funds. Another thing we could try to do is gain access to the entire network from the target machine that we hacked. Maybe inside of company's network you manage to get access to one machine, but it doesn't have all the things you might need. Maybe some important files could be on some other machine from that same network. In that case, you would want to try to hack that other machine from the machine that you already hacked. Now, you might be wondering, well, why not from our Cal Linux machine? Well, maybe machines that belong to that network have more trust between one another. Maybe they exchange files or communicate with some other software altogether on that same network. In that sense, it would be easier to get access to one of those machines from a system that is already inside of their network, right? Maybe we would also want to run a keylogger on the machine we got access to. Now, keylogger is a program that captures every keyboard input from that machine. So with this, not only we could maybe capture some passwords that the user of that machine would input in some secured website or software, but we would also be able to see everything else that he or she typed, from what they searched on the internet to maybe the messages that they're sending on social media from that machine, or basically anything that they type in the keyboard, we will be able to see it. Amazing, right? You can picture post-exploitation as some type of a information gathering on the target system. And these things that we talked about are just a small portion of what we can do once we hack a machine. Now that we briefly talked about post-exploitation theory, let us see what available tools and commands we can use to achieve all of the things that we mentioned and even more. See you in the next video.